Well, hello, and welcome to the Daily Atheist. I got all fuzzy. Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me today. It is Thursday, the day of Thor's Day. You know, one of the things we're going to talk about is, primarily probably, is divine command theory and how horrific it is. I saw a question briefly in the chat. I figure I'll answer it so you can either, chill and hang out with us or, get your answer and go. The question was, at least admit that... Let's see. Do I know? Where was it? Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm find it right here. They were asking, damn, do you at least grant that Jesus was a real person? That's the question. Maybe. He might have been a real person. Maybe. I wouldn't doubt it or be surprised. It wouldn't bother me if he was. It wouldn't change my position at all. Just means that he's based on a real person. That's it. It's almost, just imagine like you found out one day that Stan Lee really did know a guy named Peter Parker, and that kid was a gymnast, and Stan Lee based Spider-Man on Peter Parker, his friend who was a gymnast. That doesn't really mean that it's all the things he says about him is true, does it? But as it stands, we don't have any contemporary evidence that Jesus was a real person. So he may not have been. But I really, to tell you the truth, I lean towards him being a real person. But until there's contemporary solid evidence, I can't really say. That's my thinking. That's my thoughts. That's what I think.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait. You don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh no, the Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
All right, we are back. I hope you guys have had a great week so far. It is Thursday, like I mentioned, and we're going to talk about some divine command theory. So if you don't know, if you're new to the channel or the whole atheist Christian thing, you may not know what divine command theory is. Not all Christians ascribe to divine command theory. Not all theists, should I say. I guess maybe they do in a way. I really don't know. You'd have to ask it. Each individual one is sort of like us saying, not all atheists. Anyway, divine command theory is essentially that whatever God says is good. Whatever God says is evil. If God says baking a pie is evil and you must die for baking a pie, then that is evil and you must die for baking a pie. If God says that you should go around unaliving babies with a stick and a rock or a bat and that is good and holy, then according to divine command theory, it is good and holy. And that's the scary thing about divine command theory, isn't it? Because essentially, they believe that whatever their God creature deems good is good. Not necessarily what society deems good, or even probably what their own notions tend to think is good. It's what their God creature thinks is good. Now, we here at the channel know how horrific their God creature is. But it's just kind of scary to think about these people out there who are going by this, and they think we have bad morals. And they come in here and we talk about things like, they say where do I get my morals from? And if I'm an atheist, well, from society. I grew up in a society, and my morals would be different if I grew up in a different society, because morals are absolutely subjective, and you don't like that, but that's your problem. But my morals, I was kind of raised up with, and they teach me to treat everybody equally and kindly and respectfully and all that business. Christian morals don't do that, do they? But Christians demonstrate that almost all the time, you know, trans bans, gay bans, going after gay marriage, that sort of thing, you know, the typical signature move of your Christians. But why do they do that? Because according to their God creature, those things are wicked and evil and sinful. I don't know why they picked that thing, but anyway. But according to us, just leave people alone. Let them do whatever they're going to do. You know, if they're not hurting you and they're not hurting anybody else, leave them alone. Divine command theory. So to me, it's really kind of horrific. And it's scary. One of the things that's scary about part of the divine command theory is that, I mean, just imagine, as we talk to these Christians here in the chat, and they're like, they're like, well, you know, God did this and bless you and all this. Well, you got to ask yourself, man, if they have a hallucination, they tell us clearly here that if they have a hallucination or whatever, and imagine for some reason convincingly enough that God has spoken to them and told them to harm someone else, their own child, their own family member, their stranger, they will do that because God told them to, because divine command theory, right? Let me just see what's going on here. My name, Bible 2000 propaganda, inverted. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Carry on with yourself. Let's see. I saw something about more, Muslims. Yeah, I don't really have I'm not fond of Islam either. It's not my problem right now. It's somebody else's problem. Right now, Christianity is my problem. That's probably the shortest way I've ever that. Now they'll say, what do you mean by your problem? And then I'll have to explain to them that they're actually oppressing other people and they don't know it. And what happens is when other people stop them from oppressing someone, they go, oh my goodness, oh, I'm being oppressed because I can't oppress people. That's Christian. It's like their thing. Good morning, John Hudson. I hope you're doing great. Pseudo V Science. Good morning. Man, we got some cool names. I was swallowing coffee and thinking as soon as I put this mug down and then... let's see what's going on here. See if I can catch up with some of our chat. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful week. We're almost done with our weekend. It's been a good week for me. Yeah, things have been going good. Lots of blaspheming and sinning. And, you know, I don't think I've been smited once. Well, I guess, oh, my hair's also good. I was smited once. But other than that, it's been a good week. Gary Son says, all Abrahamic religions are back. That's, if they are, that's a testament to the lack of education, to the destruction of the modern education system. That's, if anything. Technically, non-theists are more intelligent than than theists. Non-theists, atheists, are more intelligent than theists. Statistically, scientifically, over and over and over and over again. So, I mean... Oh, did I say hi to SR Nation? Good morning, SR Nation. Nice to have you with us. If apple pie is wrong, I don't want to be right. Hashtag truth. Ain't that right? Let's see here. So that's kind of the thing. Christian morals. You know, Chris George, man, I appreciate you, man, but I am weary, brother, of the spam. You know what I mean by the spam? I cannot tell you how many times I've seen you post, no fiery hell in mainline Protestantism, nor young earth creation. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it in comments. I even blocked you from the channel for like a day or two. And I was like, maybe not. You got to stop. Stop with the posting. Stop with the copy pasting. Or I'm just fucking done with you, dude. I'm done with you. I'm sick of it. I know. I fucking know at this point that no fire hill in mainline pro. I fucking know already. You've told me 100 fucking times you've posted it everywhere. Stop. I'm done with it. No more, Chris George. Stop. No more copy paste posts in my shit. You can do it anywhere else you want. You do it in my shit anymore, and I'm done with you. I'm real posts, words, just words, not 3 words. Hey, this is what I think, and then a copy paste of some bullshit that you've done over and over. I swear, Chris, I am sick of it. I'm sick of it. Not again. No more. No more. No more. My largesse is worn off in that department. So, baby pasters, huh? Baby pasters, interesting. That would be theists, right? Wouldn't it be theists? Christians? Inverted, not invented. The Christian Bible is an inversion of the actual truth. God does not speak. You know, that's a very interesting thought you have there, relentless hill stomper. I mean, it is novel and interesting. I dig it. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down, I think. It's wrong. I would think that, well, I mean, it's probably right. I don't know. Billions of Christians would probably think you're wrong. The entire, yeah. So that's a tough subject. Let me just get here and see if I got through, or if our friend has learned at the copy. I just want to see if there was any kind of response before I move on. I am weary. I grow weary. Y'all remember when I first met Chris? I thought he was a fucking bot because he doesn't always spam. Like, it's not always the same post all the time. Like this one is. It is. You can go in my comments and you can see him posting that exact same thing. No fiery hell in Protestant main church. I don't give a fuck. I am so fucking over it. But every now and then he will accompany this long fucking post of bullshit with maybe a word or two that's different. But I really did. I thought he was a bot for quite a while. So I was like, dude, are you a bot or are you a real person? What the fuck? So I'm I'm in a mood, apparently. Chris' comment doesn't even make sense. I know, they never really do. Let's see here. I want to read our side. Just checking here. Relentless. You guys go on, would you tell? You know, relentless, I used to get hung up on spelling mistakes. Now the only time I really have a problem with a spelling or grammar mistake, and you'll see me mentioning it normally, really the only time you'll see that happen is when the person who has made the grammatical or spelling error is calling someone else dumb. They'll come in my chat and they'll say, "You're an idiot," and it'll be like, "Yours," and I own an idiot. It's like my idiot instead of I am an idiot, you know, or whatever. If you're going to call someone stupid, fucking spell it right. That's all I'm saying. Use some proper punctuation, capitalization. You know, don't look like a fucking moron. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, good morning, Garlic Eric. Thank you for joining us. We encourage conversation. We'll figure out the stuff with Chris. I mean, Chris has been watching the show for a long time, and I swear to goodness he's been posting the same shit for a long time. My largesse is dissipated completely. Anyway, so never call someone else stupid. We all do dumb shit all the time. You know, Vic, that's a good point. Even when I was, if you will, a grammar Nazi, even at that point, my notion was this: if you see someone misspell a word or they do the there wrong or something, once, you know, it happens to all of us, especially in a heated conversation. But you can tell when you're talking to people that don't know the difference, and you know what I mean. You pick up what I'm saying. So I try not to be that way. Kif says, "You're a fool for not believing in my imaginary friend." That's very true. That's one of the things, isn't it? We've talked about that on the show, is that's exactly what I would tell you. Listen, Christian friend, I'm a person. I'm going to sell you Christianity, okay? Imagine you're an atheist. I'm going to sell you Christianity. But part of the deal is it is so weird and so crazy when you really think about it. It's going to be tough for me to sell it to you. Tough. So there's a couple things I want to do. One is I want to tell you, listen, I know this stuff is crazy. You have to believe it on faith. Then I'm going to tell you that people who are outside of this religion don't understand it. They don't get us, right? Me and you get it. We're special. Outside, they don't get it. They are fools. That's what somebody who's trying to con you into something would tell you. Is it not? I mean, that's part and parcel exactly describing Christianity. Is it not? Fun. Let's see. Hypatia. Good morning, Hypatia. Stan. I hope you're having a great day. Anthony Lendecho. 2-bedroom house with a white picket fence, 2 kids and a wife. Is this a song? Is this like the beginning of a country song? I hear a twang of a guitar. I don't know. Maybe I'm... Good morning, Anthony. I almost certainly missed the beginning of a conversation. I am supremely confident that's not how you kicked in the door. I'm just guessing. The North American Dream. Oh, yeah. Well, it kind of was. It used to be the North American Dream. I mean, really, in a way. It was the imposed upon us North American dream, if you will. Sort of. Anyway, Atheist Mechanic threw $5. Oh, wow. Look at the $5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, atheism wins. All praise the monad. What's a monad? Hey, what is a monad? I don't know what the monad is. I may have to look that up. Win a war, Anthony. Oh, win a war. I get it. Yeah. Win a war. I guess technically you're right. I mean, I can't argue with you, Anthony. I mean, that's right. That's true. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can blame it on whatever I want to and go, oh, it's because of this and because of this, but you're not wrong. It doesn't matter why it was like that. It was like that. And especially to some boomers like us, it kind of still is. We still see that way. I mean, the goal for us is a 2-car garage, a house, a brick home, probably, if you're my age. A nice little yard with some dogs. I mean, really, that's kind of and the money to travel. So yeah, you're not wrong. The younger generation has a different idea of what a normal, regular home is. That's okay. That's okay. It is a lot of I want to say Christian puritanical stuff that gets us with the husband and wife and only husband. I mean, it leads from the a husband and wife and a perfect 2-kid count. But wait, it's got to be a husband and wife. Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Kind of gets like that. You know what I mean? They get like that. Vicky says, sometimes people say things and I don't understand them. Sometimes I take my glasses off when I see things I don't understand. But I think I get this. Vicky says, women are too complicated to just fart them into existence. Men are simple creatures. At first I thought it was a slight on women until I kind of got into the sentence. I was like, oh my goodness, this is where this is going. And once again, I have to throw out there to a person in the audience. You're not wrong, my friend. You're not wrong. Have you heard of the Venus Project? Not off the hand. Faustino, it's not familiar to me right off the hand. I can look it up, but I'm not going to right now. I recently heard about this. I've heard about the divine command theory, obviously, but there's this individual who goes around debating people about it. His name is Andrew Wilson, apparently. And apparently, some theists have latched onto his arguments. He has a very compelling method. I mean, go watch, my friend. Go watch this Christian apologist. His method is clear and unmistakable and direct. He will use weak arguments. He will ignore the good arguments and things that come from his opponent. And then once he starts losing, it is clear, direct, and predictable that he will suddenly and very directly go ad hominem on whoever he's debating. He is an absolute piece of shit. And his whole deal, hey, Andrew, if you're watching, man, sorry, hashtag truth. But, his kind of deal is that Christianity in all its flaws and forms, I guess, Christian nationalism specifically, is better than secular humanism somehow. I don't really know how he gets that, but again, it's a matter of perspective. It's your two people arguing for, I'm going, this is red, and you're going, this over here is green, and this is red, and this over here is green. It's just kind of hard to say the same thing. Because we work by different moral sets. So I can sit here and say, well, Christian nationalists are bad for society because they immediately start hurting people like trans people or gay people. They immediately start going after and trying to oppress these people. That's my perspective as a secular humanist who believes everybody needs to be treated equally and morally and all that other business. However, as a theist, as a Christian, you're working, mostly, not all of you, on a different moral set. You're not working on the same moral set I am. So, to you, in your framework, what you do is right and is good. And you're not oppressing people. You're trying to either help them stop whatever madness they're in or whatever you think you're doing. You know what I mean? You see the difference, though? I don't feel wrong. Sometimes I get wrong. But now, at first you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Hold on, Bone. See if you play. One second. I don't know. Let me look. I don't want to tell you what I'm looking up just in case. It's something stupid. I don't want to. Let's see. Are we talking about the same thing? David Festino? David Festino. You must obviously be David Festino from Married with Children because your name is Festino. Anyway, Festino 5. Thank you. The Venus Project is a project about, this says at least, designing human habitats to simultaneously enhance well-being. I mean, is it... that's very broad. Just that alone is very broad. That could mean anything from a fallout shelter. You know what I mean? But I would want to know more. I'm all about that sort of thing. I would, yeah. I don't know. I'd have to learn more. It's not what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be some kind of Seven Mountains mandate bullshit or something. So thank you for not hitting me with something like that early this morning. Let's see. Silva Fett. Good morning. How are you doing? Tinfoil hat wearer. Nowadays cereal is so sweet, so I wonder, is cereal nowadays just dessert soup? Cereal, tinfoil hat wearer. That is a fantastic question. Thinking. I think it has all the qualifications. I don't even think it has to be all that sweet, does it? It just has to have animal protein, fluid, and the intent for it to be something to eat. Like you can't really call the ocean soup. Well, technically you could, but you wouldn't eat soup, so you wouldn't eat the ocean like that. So it's a matter of what it is and the intent. Where's Valkai taught me that? Anyway, let's see here. It may be an economy of wording. CMY don't evangelical, it's often Christian. Anyway, tinfoil hat wear. Yeah, so tinfoil hat wear, man. I don't know about none of that other stuff. Let's talk for just a moment about soup and let's talk about something else. We're just going to have fun mentally for a moment. We all heard these conspiracy theories about this like billionaire-led pedo ring that controlled the world secretly behind the scenes, and that all the rich people were behind it, and it was crazy. And of course, we were always told it was the Democrats and the liberals, but it was actually almost exclusively conservatives and right-wing people, but not all. Can't say it's all of them, right? Can't say that, but I mean, but wait, it turned out to be true. This horrific conspiracy theory that everybody was like, no, there's no way. I mean, if the things I've learned about the thing, we're talking about how it wasn't just sexual relations. It was torture, death, paid for. I mean, it was all kinds of weird, horrific things. Just like the conspiracy theory said. This wasn't who they said. In fact, turns out, as my understanding, a lot of that stuff was started on 4chan intentionally by Jeffrey Epstein and some other guy, specifically to point it in the other way because it was already coming up and they were trying to point it to other people. Go look it up for yourself. It's just kind of really interesting. So now that has become a thing, you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist kind of person generally, but now I just kind of have to ask myself, well, is there any other conspiracy out there, conspiracy theory that was just so stupid and ridiculous but it really is true? Is it possible? I mean, are lizard people really controlling the world? Can we rip the face off Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and they'll be like green lizard people under there? That's what I'm waiting for to happen next. Oh my God, it would just be so much better for our world if we found out that human beings weren't as shitty as Donald Trump and some of his MAGA people could be. It was just that they were being controlled by an evil overlord species of aliens that were, oh my God, that would just be wonderful. Instead, they're being controlled by Benjamin Netanyahu and the Zionist Israeli government. Did I say that out loud? I did. If you can't tell my name, yeah, no, I got it. Yeah. Well, you know, I used to kind of enjoy this conspiracy theory, but anyway, John Hudson, Trump said, "I don't give a fuck. Start a war. I don't want the Epstein files released." That's true. And then really, kind of, I don't really guess they even care anymore. Does it seem he cares? I mean, if they open the full Epstein files, who's going to do anything? And this is something I've been saying for a while now. This is a little bit of a song I've been singing and nobody's been listening, but Donald Trump has been doing some horrific things in office. Things that anybody else would have been drug out of that fucking place a long time ago. But he hasn't been. And now who's there to do it? Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna drag him out? Nobody, apparently. So what happens whenever they lose the coming election and he just refuses to leave office? Who's going to make him leave? Anybody? There's nobody. There's nobody can make him leave. I mean, outside of the people. And you know, of course, the rich and the governments and all that want you to say that, always want us to spread the word that violence is never the answer, especially political violence, of course, right? You will look throughout history and discover that no tyrant has been turned over without it. No fascist regime has ever been taken down with a vote. Mi burrito está bueno. Let's see, conspire win. I want to do. Let me do. Wait a second. I want to see something else here. Let me check something. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's see what I got over here. Okay, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I was looking for something. Oh, nah, we won't do that. Let's go back to here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Bum, 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 bum. Let's go here. Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libs would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP. All right, I got a couple of things to say real quick. First of all, thank you to Kelly Shearer. Says, a couple of months ago, I said I was going to debate Andrew. I was wrong. I'm not a good debater. I'm not either. Neither is he, apparently. But really enjoy your show. Thank you, Miss Kelly. And maybe there are bigger fish to fry. Very true. Yeah, Andrew's we see his arguments come through here. We see them. Now that I know who he is, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why these jackasses keep coming in here and saying that stuff. Because they listen to him. Huh. Now, Veritas Sojourner. I got you. I'm going to help you out here. I'm gonna explain something to you, my friend, real quick. And it's going to hurt. If there's a smart person around, you might want to go call them so they can explain it to you. Veritas says, a transitional fossil is the fossil evidence of a creature changing from one species to another. There should be millions of these. There are none. You're not going to believe this. I know you're not going to believe this. Every fossil is a transition from one creature to another, from one where it's moving from one. We are all transitional from one thing to another. We are all transitional. This, I know that's not going to make sense to you. It's almost like maybe this will make sense if you're, maybe got the mentality of a 6-year-old or something. This is not our final form. We're like Pokemon. We'll have another form. We are transitional fossils between what we were and what we will be. Now, that said, I know you're not going to believe that. If you stop and think about it, though, just look around and think about it. They're all transitional fossils, every one of them. Now, you're kind of expecting like something stupid with like a snake to have leg bones or something, right? Well, they do. Yeah, they do have snakes with leg bones. You can go find them. You can go find it. Go look. Or maybe even something like whales. Whales with leg bones. They do have leg bones. They do. There are literally transitional fossils right there. They're vestigial left in these creatures that they no longer use, that they used to use. It's right there. You just don't want to see it. Or you're incapable of seeing it. I don't know. But you're saying there are none. There are none, and there should be millions. And I'm telling you, they are all transitional. B with a billion. If it's a fossil, it's not. That you're acting like that's like the end form of what everything is going to be. We are all going to be something else. Unless, of course, you're an alligator and you hit the perfect form. Your final form was like the perfect form for your environment. You can go millions of years like that. But, I mean, dude, go find a human fossil from, 100,000 years ago. That's a transition. Go find a human fossil from 100 years ago. That's a transitional thought. I mean, I just don't know that I've got the patience or the crayons, really. But I hope you get it. I do hope you get it. It's Kelly again. Thank you for the $50 super chat. I appreciate you. And okay. I remember now. You talking about the Andrew. That's the jackass. Okay. And his whole deal is essentially, my understanding, from what little I've watched, is it's about divine command theory. Yeah. I was watching him debate Richard Carrier. And he was like, so you are for prostitution, legal prostitution? And Richard's like, well, yeah. And Andrew's like, right there. And well, Richard Carrier was like, well, in states that have made it legal, they got services and protections and regulations, and the STD levels go down, the rape levels go down, the abuse levels go down. Legalizing prostitution is better for society. We got evidence. Oh, I mean, even other countries have evidence related to it. Holland, looking at you, Holland. So there's that. And at that point, it's like, you're a dumb son of a bitch. And he just starts calling names. Anyway, let me see here. Another $10. Thank you to the Atheist Mechanic. Ball pythons have vestigial legs around their cloaca. Ooh, talking dirty to me. They can use them for mating purposes. The argument that transitional fossils don't exist is dumb and lazy. Thank you for the $10. I know, man. It's like, really, man, I hope the individual stayed around long enough to see and understand. Every fossil is transitional. You're expecting to see a cat shit out a dog or something, and that's just stupid. If you believe something like that, like a bird should shit out an alligator, or an alligator should shit out a bird because they're both like reptiles or dinosaur, you know what I mean? Then you're an idiot. Nobody in the real scientific world thinks that. They know how both micro and macroevolution works. You don't, Christians. You've been misled. Not that it's your fault necessarily. You have been if you're coming in here and you're saying things like there are no such thing as, you didn't come up with that shit on your own. You didn't come up with that on your own. No, you bought into some other religious nutbag's lies, to be fair. Are you going to continue to buy those lies? Did they use the faith? Your faith, your ability to set aside reason and to be a moron on purpose, your ability to intentionally dumb yourself down, or faith as we call it, to convince you of that? Is that how it worked? Oh, hi there, Angie Holmes. How are you doing, Angie Holmes? I hope you're still here. Thanks for fighting against evolution. Damn you, evolution. Angie Holmes says, Jesus is calling you. Remember Paul. Okay. I hope you're still here, Angie. I would just like to tell you a couple of things that you should know. One is that Jesus didn't teach to people who weren't Jews. Remember? Remember that woman that he called a dog and wouldn't heal her because she wasn't a Jew? And he was like, for me to heal you and your daughter, actually, for me to heal you would be like throwing scraps of food that were meant for the children to the dogs. So Jesus didn't teach to the poor, to anybody. He didn't teach to the Gentiles really necessarily at all, did he? Neither did the other disciples whenever Jesus was gone. You know who did, though? Paul. But Paul was a Gentile, wasn't he? I mean, wasn't he? But then he became a Gentile. But wait a second, Paul never met Jesus. Paul never met Jesus. So why would I remember Paul when he never met Jesus? At best, years after the event, Paul went and spent a couple of weeks with Peter. At best. A couple of weeks. At best. He even says so in his writings. He never met Jesus in person. If you go look, Miss Angie, you will read and learn that Jesus taught a message of loving God and fearing God, believing in God, loving and worshiping God. Paul taught a message of worshiping Jesus, right? Not worshiping God, worshiping pretty much Jesus. That's why you think Jesus is God, but he's not God. But you think so because Paul had to make him so. And you can even go read and you learn for yourself that Paul talks about how he went to spend time with the apostles. I think he met two of them and spent time with Peter. And during that time, it was established that the two apostles that he met with would continue teaching the church or the message to the Jews. And that Paul was then he was in charge of being the guy teaching the Gentiles. So essentially a guy who never met Jesus, who teaches a different message than what Jesus taught, was given permission to teach it to people that Jesus wouldn't teach it to. Isn't that interesting? And there's another little thing I just want to kind of throw out there real quick for you. Jesus said absolutely hate your friends. Thank you for, I'm going to do this real quick. Let me get that off there, Miss Angie. And, yes. Jesus was a virgin. He was nailed. Wasn't a virgin. He was nailed. Hey, that's funny. Silverfest says Jesus wasn't a virgin. He was nailed by at least 3 Romans. It's possible. I don't know. I mean, the joke is funny. Huh? But it is possible his mother may have been nailed by at least one of them. One Roman. You mean there may have been a Roman in the woodpile? Is that how they say? Is that the phrase? Yeah. So it may have been that Jesus's father was a Roman named Panteris. And the whole she was actually betrothed to Joseph and had an affair with this other guy. And so he came up with this whole mess. And yeah, at one point, Joseph was even willing. He's like, I didn't have nothing to do with this. And then he softened his heart to her. And it's possible that there was at least one Roman in there. Colby presents, there is zero evidence that disproves the Bible. Colby, did you just get here? Are you new to the channel, I'm thinking? I have something for you. I have something. I'm going to give you something that is going to disprove the Bible. Would you like that? Or no? If you don't want to, let me know. I just won't waste my time. But if you want to, let me know, and I'll give you something that disproves the Bible. Be not afraid of the words of the serpent, right? For the Lord will protect you. I love ignorant people, said Donald Trump. All right, so here we go. Which chat are you in, my ignorant Christian friend? Let me see. I'm not sure which. Actually, I heard that recently that YouTube is going to unify their 2 stream things instead of us having to do it separate. And so I'll have unified chats. I won't have to go through all this crap one of these days. Aha, there it is. Colby. Yeah, all right, Colby. So I'm going to just post it in both channels. So go here. Now, you might get a security warning. That's just what it is. Go here. Lyingforjesus.com. I'll even put it up on the screen for you to ignore publicly. Now, at this place that is taking you to, what you'll find is this. I will show you because I'm a nice guy. That's how I am. I will show you. There we go. So here, I'm going to share screen. I'm old and I'm running this shit by myself, so give me a break. I'm old. Share. So here you go. Now you can see what I'm seeing here. This is a website I've just directed you to. Fear not, it won't hurt you. It might bite a little bit. Son of a bitch. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, this is a website. It is called lyingforjesus.com, and these are the Bible contradictions. So there's a lot of Bible contradicting the Bible. It's very own, but I hope you can see that. Can you see that? You may not be able to see my mouse running over the thing. But yeah, go look at that website. You have all this is, it's not moving. Why forth art thoueth not movingeth. Hold on, let me do this. Okay. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know. It's broken. Anyway, go to that website and you shall see. Go there. Sure. Go there and you'll see all kinds of contradictions. Absolutely all kinds of contradictions. I will tell you something. There is zero evidence that disproves the Bible. Well, let's start, if you want to, and I know you're really going to hate this. Let's start with the Adam and Eve story. If the Adam and Eve story were true, we should be able to look back in the fossil record and see nothing, 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 nothing. Poof, humans. Shouldn't we? So, since that's not the case, the Bible claims, at least according to some Christians, that... Shit, did my internet go down? Nope. We're back. Sorry, I thought I was smited by the Lord. You never know with my internet. Anyway, so there's all kinds of evidence that disproves the Bible. The Bible makes claims that it cannot prove. The Bible claims that Moses and like 2 million people, I guess they estimate, I don't know, a bunch of Jews moved from Egypt to the Holy Land, Promised Land, all at once in a matter of, months or whatever, years, I guess. But you know what I mean? There's zero archaeological evidence of that. None. You can even go back and go to the Israeli archaeological place and look, and they will tell you the same thing. Even in Israel, they don't think the story of Moses is real. So your Bible has just been disproven. But then we can go on. We have scientific evidence. Sometimes there is a lack of evidence we don't normally say is evidence for something normally. Like, for example, the lack of contemporary evidence for Jesus because nobody who was around at the time wrote about him doesn't mean he didn't exist. But you can't say that with everything, can you? It doesn't really work that way, does it? Because here's something I'll give you an example of. The Great Flood. We can look back through the archaeological record and see an absence of evidence for a worldwide flood. There was no worldwide flood. The story of Noah never happened. You fucking know that, right, Colby? You're not 4, are you? Do we even need to talk about Jonah? Do we need to talk about Jonah? Hey, Colby, maybe you can get your mom to come make you a sandwich or something. You should be watching cartoons. This show is clearly way too grown up for you. Timothy says Roman Empire wrote the Bible. Timothy, I'm going to only briefly split a hair with you. The Roman Empire wrote the Christian Bible, the New Testament. Possibly. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was proven out. Yeah. I mean, why would they write it down in fucking Greek? Why wouldn't it be in... That's a whole different conversation right there. Let's see here. You, my friends, are wonderful. I very much appreciate your time. And thank you again for the super chats. One of the things that I've talked about... Let's see here. Oh. Okay. The Bible was written by the Romans. Okay, it's kind of some of it was. Some of it may have been, possibly. Terplus says, stand with Israel. No, I don't think so. I mean, here's the deal, Terp. In Israel, you have, like we have in the United States, a left-wing and a right-wing party. Pardon the descriptors, but you know what I mean. And in Israel, they have what we would call like our MAGA party, the far right-wing, hard conservative party. That's the Zionists. They are currently in charge of Israel. And I'm not going to stand with them. They're shit. They're murdering babies, murdering people, innocent people. But that's not Israel, right? I stand with Israel, the people of Israel, who are not part of this group, because this group who are doing these things does not represent all of Israel. So I am against the genocide being committed by the Zionist controlling. It's like here in the United States. It's like here in the United States. It's like Donald Trump. You may not know this, but accordingly, my understanding is the cuts made by Donald Trump and Elon Musk, just USAID is going to cost almost 30 million lives over a period of 5 years. Do you stand with the United States? Do you blame all of us in the United States? Are we all responsible for those deaths? I mean, there was a good portion of us who actually built that up to help those people and control those nations. I ain't gonna fucking lie to you. The USAID is also part of a soft power campaign. Yes, it did feed people. It did help the people, but it was also a tool that we could take away if a country wasn't playing nice with us. So I can't lie that it wasn't completely, up and up, but they weren't openly starving and killing people. Donald Trump will do that. Anyway, let me do this thing here. I want to check and see. But slurp, derp. Yeah, so I stand with people. Currently, matter of fact, we could even talk about the Gaza thing and the whole Gaza and the people who are there, the Gazans who are there, and there's also the Hezbollah and these other people that are there. We can talk about that. And that, I mean, I am for the people of Gaza. But any hard right-wing religious military government group, I am not with. So I support the people of Gaza, but I don't support Hezbollah, or I'm not obviously familiar enough with all the groups over there to do that. But you see what I mean. I know who's bad and who's not bad. So did they say they were stupid? Is that what happened? Let me see. I gotta see it. Wait. Hold on a second. Wait, bear with me. We just had this happen. I hope this is perfect. I don't know what you're talking about then. You're too smart for me. Must be too smart for me. Left-wing Israelis are just as genocidal. All the data shows us. I don't think you'd be able to prove that. I think you're just a fucking liar. That's what I think. I think you're a liar. I think you made it up. I don't think you can find a single statistic or research study that could prove that. Could you? Now it's up to you, my friend. You made the accusation. I've called you out on it. You have the opportunity here in my chat to post the links to genuine studies, if you have them, or you can slink away as the liar that you are. However, that being said, we got to split a hair, man. We got to split a hair. If you're talking about left-wing Israelis as far as religious Jews or religious Christians who are also Israelis, then yeah, they probably are genocidal just as much as the rest of the Christians or the religious people. But if you're just talking about the average, normal left-wing Israeli, they are, I doubt very much they're genocidal. However, there are also other circumstances, I think, that over there that need to be considered that really we don't consider here from our standpoint enough, to be fair. I mean, to be fair to me and to be fair to you, right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're wrong. The things over there are complicated. The people of Israel or the Zionists of Israel, there's nobody to defend the people in Gaza. All the government's been destroyed. The only people who are there to defend them are Hezbollah. Right or wrong, you know what I mean? So now that's great. Hezbollah is a wonderful organization when they're defending people, but whenever Hezbollah has power and they're enforcing their power, inflicting their Islamic beliefs on other people, then everything it's complicated. Anyway, I doubt very much. I am keen and eager to see those studies, though. I would like to see that from you if you can find them about the left-wing Israelis. Again, though, I got to tell you, I'm a left-wing liberal nutbag. I've been all my life. And if in my youth, my father had been killed by, let's say, Hispanic Mexicans from Mexico, and then my brother had been and I was raised up, even though I'm a let everybody live, even though all these people were harmed by this group of people, regardless of the intentions of the group of people or what happened to that group of people beforehand. Maybe we attacked the Mexicans and then they attacked us back, and now I have this bitter thing for Hispanics or Mexicans, and yet I am a liberal. See, it can get complicated. So, I wouldn't actually be surprised. A little surprised because theists tend to be dishonest, but I wouldn't be overly surprised if you were right, and I can see why they would be, because of the constant bloody strife they're subjected to on both sides. So that they just face things over there that I don't think we face over here. We don't have the experience or the understanding, really. I wish Ryan Kiltastic, we're here to give us her thoughts on it, because she's from her lineage is from that place. She has friends in history, and it's just, I don't know enough about it to speak on it, really. Let's see. Why true evolution, says William Graves. Well, William, because it is. Here's the deal, William. I got you, man. I got you. We've got all the evidence. Billions of pieces of evidence, fossilized evidence, living evidence, transitional fossils, because remember, my friends, they're all transitional. It's like Arthropithecus was between this one. Anyway, sorry. So we've got all the evidence we need, all of it, and you deny it over and over and over again with a level of ignorance. It's really, your commitment to your ignorance, I have to say, is stunning. I have to take my hat off to you in at least your commitment to it. And yet you still failed to bring any evidence that can debunk the entire field of evolutionary science, nor do you bring any evidence to back up your own claims, whatever they may be. Because again, if your claims were true, then we shouldn't see any human skeletons before 5 or 6 or however many thousands of years ago, right? But you can't prove anything. You got no evidence, zero evidence. You have no evidence of your claims at all. We have actual evidence of our claims. Billions of pieces. You just want to go, no, it's not true. And I can't help you for that. That's on you. Why the government saves your asses. I mean, you're using English and you're putting all the words together and it sounds like coherency, but whenever you stop and look at the big picture, I'm just curious, have you not taken your meds today? Are you okay? How about this? 1% of something ain't that something. Nobody meets anyone's standards, political identity BS. Good morning, JCH. I don't know what 1% of, I don't know what, I gotta say, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I see. You guys are talking about this. But you have a conversation going on, my friends. I see. Yes, you're going off on each fella. All the arguments they bring up are extraneous to the bare theism claim. Anyway. You can say God, Jonathan, doesn't exist when you don't even know. How can you say God? I gotta highlight this stupidity. Pardon me. How can you say God doesn't exist when you don't even know if God exists? I'm gonna let you sit with that for just a minute. Let me put that up again. How can you say God doesn't exist when you don't know if God exists? Maybe I should take my stroke medicine. All right, listen. Yeah, my friends. Here's the deal. You have to prove your claim that your God exists. That's what has to happen. You have to prove that a God exists. Right? You have to prove it. I can't prove that something that doesn't exist. You can't fucking do that. I mean, right? How could you do that? God doesn't exist. Prove God doesn't exist. You have to prove God exists. So that's the challenge is on you. You're making the claim that there is a powerful God creature everywhere who has power yet never uses it, who can do anything yet does nothing, yet loves our life but is waiting for us to die. You're the one who has to prove it. When you prove that, then we're the ones that go, no, then we have to disprove it. So for example, you come to me tomorrow and you go, look at this piece of evidence I have found that says that God creature is real. And then at that point, you now have proven that your God creature is real. It's my job then to disprove your God creature is real. You've made the claim, you've backed it up with evidence, and now at this point, it would then be my job to disprove the evidence, which you have not made. You can't make any evidence. If there were evidence of a God creature, everybody would believe already, but there's not, right? So that's how that works. And all you have done so far is you've gone, here's this evidence that I have for the God creature. Okay, so you made the claim. I said I don't believe. Now you prove your evidence. Now, provide your evidence. Now, I look down into your hand, and in your hand, the evidence you have is like some feces and some twigs and some sticks or some business. Then at that point, I go, well, no, this is not a God creature. This is not proof of a God creature. It's just your own feces and some twigs. And therefore, see how that works? Now, if I were to go and look in your hand and go, oh my God, there's a God creature there. I mean, it's real and true and it's holy and it knows what I need to see in order to believe. It's right there. But that doesn't happen. You bring evidence, we disprove it. If it's even worth trying to disprove. You know, like the Shroud of Turin, you probably almost came as soon as I said it. It's cute that some of you guys still argue about the Shroud of Turin. I mean, it's cute in a 4-year-old kind of way. It's not only that we have scientific evidence, real scientific evidence, that says it's only about what, from the 1100s, 1200s, something like that at best, yeah. That's what the evidence is. And we even have contemporary writing. And for those Christians who don't know what that means people who actually lived at the time that it was allegedly created or happened or whatever. So, for example, there were no contemporary writings that Jesus ever existed. Okay, Tacitus doesn't count. Josephus don't count. They were like 60 to 100 years after Jesus. They don't count. There was no contemporary writings. However, with this other one, we have a contemporary writing. Did I lose you? This is factually not true. What? Which part? You got to go on, man. I've been talking a lot. And my internet's falling out today. You're a babbling idiot. Well, at least you got the "you're" right. Thank you. I appreciate that. At least you're not one of those morons. You know, I am actually a babbling idiot. You really should, though. I mean, take your time. It's worth it to you, Rivercat. I mean, to look up some of the things I say. You know, I won't lie to you. I do kind of push a lot of cannabis. I filter a lot of cannabis through this brain. So I tend to forget shit. I do lose my train of thought on occasion, especially if something happens in the chat that gets my, you know. But go see if what I'm saying is wrong. Test me. You know, I don't think eating on the stream is very professional. Do you guys? And when I first started doing it, I was like, I don't think this is very professional, but it got so many Christians so pissed off. It was like positive reinforcement. Just the indignation. I don't know why, but it's kind of stuck with me, everything. So how can you say God doesn't exist? So now, I'm sorry, back to my story about the Shroud of Turin. We have contemporary evidence. We have a person who was alive at the time that it came around, who said it was a fake, that it was made by somebody. They knew it was a fake at the time it was created and presented to the Pope, but they wanted to believe it and they continued to believe it and they just went on believing it, despite somebody knowing and claiming, saying it was a fake. They even knew the guy that made it. Or someone had business. It's been a day or two. Lots of cannabis. But go look. Don't listen to me. Go look. Go look. And yet you Christians, despite all of that, will come here and try to Turin. That's crazy. Rivercat says it's easy to make claims when you don't bring on anyone educated in theology to debate with you. So it's sort of like saying it's easy to make claims whenever I don't bring anybody who's an expert in Marvel to talk to me about the Marvel heroes. You know, I had a phone line where people called in and you're all just fucking morons. I hate to say it really, but you're morons. You'd call in and you're like, give me evidence for this thing. And I go, all right, here, go look. And they would just ignore it, blind it, but it didn't matter. I got tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again. I mentioned earlier that Josephus and Tacitus don't count as contemporary evidence. One of our last calls, I was already tired of it. We got this call from this jackass, and he's going to give us his proof. Here's my real proof. I got real proof. And I'm like, it's got to be contemporary. It's contemporary. So he goes, have you guys heard of Tacitus? And I'm like, fuck, no, Tacitus is not real. Tacitus wasn't even born for like 30 to 50 years after Jesus allegedly lived. 30 to 50 years. Then he had to grow up and be an adult before he even allegedly ran into these Christians. Who said so? Let's talk about hearsay. That does not count. So we went through this whole thing, arguing back and forth about that, blah, 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 blah. And finally, I'm like, dude, I am done with you. You're an idiot. You're just an idiot. You don't even know what contemporary. I'm done with you. And he goes, all right, wait. Let me give you some contemporary evidence. I got it. I got the evidence you need. I said, okay, does it have anything to do with Tacitus or Josephus? And he said, no. I said, all right, go ahead and give me your evidence. And he said, do you know this Roman, this general named Nero? And I said, yes. And he said he knew this guy named Tacitus. And I was like, motherfucker. See what I mean? What do you want me to debate about? Do you want me to debate about the Bible? Because what I usually talk about is the Bible. Let's talk about the Bible. Are you going to debate me on whether or not Jesus Christ himself admits that he is going to come back and gather up people like Hitler and put them into a furnace and burn them? You want to debate on that? Okay. Matthew chapter 13. Oh, wait, you didn't think I had scriptures, did you? Darn. Yeah, Matthew chapter 13. I'm even getting to where I can remember the verse, everything. It's just getting good with me. You remember that time, my ignorant Christian friend Rivercat, where Jesus is actually telling people how much to beat their slaves? Do you remember that? That if it's a slave who knew he did wrong, beat him with many blows. But if it's a slave who didn't know he did wrong, beat him with few blows. That's Jesus. Would you like the scripture for that? I'm sure you would. Hold on a second. First one is Matthew 13. I want to give you for that other one. I believe it's 13. Matthew 13. Matthew 13, 41 and 42. Jesus Christ says, and he's referring to himself when he says the Son of Man. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. So this is Jesus saying he's going to separate out everybody but the right kind of Christian. All of the everybody. They will throw them into the blazing furnace where will be gnashing, weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's Jesus talking about committing an atrocity that Hitler would just fucking jack off to think about. Right? Is that not what that's saying? That's Jesus talking out of his own mouth, saying he's going to murder billions of people and throw them into a furnace. I'm taking out of context. Oh, I'm taking it out of context. No, you're the guys that take it out of context. That's your speciality. Go read it. I gave you the scripture. What are we going to debate about? What would I debate somebody about that? Oh, look, it says it again in the same chapter. Matthew 13, 47 through 50. Once again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down, blah, 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 blah. When it was full, blah, 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 blah. They sat down and blah, blah, blah. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. How many people are on this planet? Let's do this. How many people on Earth? Let's limit it to Earth, okay? Allegedly, 8.3 billion, if you trust the science people. Okay, all right. So how many Christians are there? How many Christians? Okay, estimated. Roughly 2.4 to 2.6 billion. So let's go 2.5 for round numbers. 2.5 to 8. That's 4.5 billion people that Jesus and his angels would have to burn in a furnace. Jesus burning people in a furnace like Adolf Hitler. Exactly like, in fact. Gathering up those who don't believe the way he... And see, I was actually generous, wasn't I? I was quite generous. I think I was very generous by giving you the whole 2.5 billion people as Christians. Yes, there probably are that many Christians, but Jesus said not all who walk the path will be allowed into heaven, remember? Not everybody who calls my name will be responded to. Not everybody who walks through the doors will make it into heaven. So even it's only a fraction of that 2.5 billion Christians that are going to be spared. Jesus Christ, according to Matthew, is personally with his angels going to come back and murder billions of people in a furnace. Loving, forgiving, merciful, kind. Yeah. So there was that one. Let's see. I mentioned that something else. Oh, yes. Beating your slaves. I don't want you to think I was lying about you. I believe that one is in Luke. Luke. The right one? A lot of things happen. Oh, yes. It's Luke. Luke chapter 12, my ignorant Christian friends. And by ignorant, I just mean lack of knowledge. You know, I mean, There's ignorant, in which is just a genuine understanding, lack of knowledge. And then there's fucking ignorant, and you know who you are. Anyway, Luke, the chapter. Luke, I want to do this first, right? I want to do this first. Let's see how it goes. Luke. Now, remember, friends, this is Jesus commanding violence against a slave. Okay, all right. But I'm wrong. Watch, I'm taking it out of context. Jesus is talking, and he tells this person in Luke 12, 47 through 48, the servant who knows the master's will and does not get ready or does not do what the master wants will be beaten with many blows. But the one who does not know and does things deserving of punishment will be beaten with few blows. So did Jesus just say to beat an innocent man? Is that or a person, innocent person? Probably, man. Did Jesus just say that? That if that person was actually innocent in their knowledge of doing something wrong, that they should be beaten? What about turn the other cheek, or forgiveness, or love, or mercy, or any of that? But no. Beat an innocent slave. Now in the chat, you're going, oh, well, they meant a bond slave, which is like somebody who could come and go when they want. Lies. That's fucking lies. If you even started saying something like that, that's a lie. Then we'll also have our Christian friends out there who will say, well, Chris, you said servant. Let's read that again, Chris. Chris is so wrong. I will read it to you. Luke 12, 47 and 48. The servant, Chris. The servant. Yeah. But actually, if you go look at the original Greek, it says doulos. The word is doulos, which is slave. Yeah, slave. Slave. Jesus is not only condoning slavery, but actively beating your slaves. Disgusting. I say that out loud. I sometimes say that out loud.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
All right, I got a couple of things I want to address, then I'm going to have to go. I got a call. I want to, because you know me, I just can't let things go. Yeah, River Cat debate you, blah, 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 blah. Jonathan Walden, thank you for proving me right. Jesus Christ could literally stand before people and people would be denying his existence. People would be asking him for identification. You know, that's very true because he didn't have any power. He was a liar. He was a con artist at best. When you go look at go read Mark, it reads like Jesus and like 2 or 3 or 4 people went around pulling a con. You go up there and be sick, I'll come heal you. We'll get money. We'll fucking leave. Go read it. And then read chapter 6. Is it chapter 6? Mark chapter 6? Hold on. Wait. Mark chapter 6. Is it chapter 6? Maybe it's chapter 7. Aha. There's a part where Jesus himself goes into his own hometown and tries to work his miracles. But the people, like you say, my friend, the book and briar, I'm sorry, no, Jonathan Walton, like you say, I'm going to put this back up here. You say people today wouldn't believe? Jesus, his fucking self, was literally there in front of his own people, in front of his own hometown, and they thought he was full of bullshit. They thought he was full of bullshit. Hold on, I'll get it for you. I'll read it for you. Now, and he goes on to say, that even says in the verse, that because they didn't believe in him and didn't have faith, Jesus essentially couldn't perform any miracles. All he could do was heal a couple of people. Wait a second. Doesn't that sound like that's all they could do with their little con artist group? Oh, I can't bring water out of wine now. I can't split the heavens. I can't do all these things right now because there's real people. But oh yeah, here's a sick man over here. Let me go heal him. Thanks, Bob. Right? That's literally what it sounds like. Let me find the scripture for you because you won't believe me. You won't even believe the scripture. That's the cute part about the whole thing. Let's see. I think it's Mark chapter 7. Mark 7? Mark 7 is a torpedo from Star Wars. Let's see here. Star Trek, I'm sorry. All right, one. Oh, yeah. Wait. I'm just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Oh. Ah, there we go. There we go. This is the one. I need to remember this. Matthew 13:57. This is not the only place I think that it says this, though. Let's go here. 13:57. Listen to this. Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to read it to you and then I'll explain it to you. Let me start out just by going, Jesus went to his own hometown and tried to do his work, okay? When Jesus had finished these parables, he moved on from there, coming to his hometown. He began teaching the people in the synagogue, and they were amazed. Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? They asked. Isn't this the son of the carpenter? Isn't this the son of Mary? Aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Aren't all his sisters here with us? Where did this man get all these powers? And they took offense at him. Wait a second. Jesus rocks into their town, literally working miracles, and they take offense at him? And then it goes on to say, but Jesus said to them, listen, Christians, remember, I tell you, Jesus is not God. He's a prophet. Like Moses. You're not supposed to worship Jesus. You're supposed to worship God. Jesus goes on. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town and in his own home. So essentially, last line. And he did not do many miracles there because of their lack of faith. Yeah, he couldn't pull the bullshit in front of people who knew him. They're like, dude, I know who you are. You're not fooling me with that bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. And a prophet could not work miracles. Jesus himself calls himself a prophet. I'll let y'all sit with that as long as you need to. Like I said, I got to run. There was other comment I wanted to address. Here's the deal. You cannot have, Brookenbauer says, you cannot have justification for objective morality without God. I don't claim objective morality. We don't claim, at least I don't claim to have objective morality on my side. I was raised by a group and a civilization and a society, and I got my morals for there. If I were raised as an Aztec 500 years ago, I would have different morals. Right? Would I not? If I were raised back in the Middle East, back in Tyre, or I would have a different moral set, right? You're the one that makes the claim of having an objective morality. And yet, every one of your people seem to have that objective morality is different. It can't think for the same. It has no single unified voice. You claim objective morality, but you can't prove it. If you could prove objective morality, that would mean there was a It's like saying the sun is the objective supplier of light for the entirety of the earth. It's easily to prove. You can actually tell that because it's obvious, right? If that were the case, your morality would be as obvious, wouldn't it? You wouldn't have 40,000 different denominations of Christianity. How objective is your morality there? That's just in your own denomination, your own church. That's not counting the other churches and blah, 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 the other religions and the Judaism and the Islam and all that. You can't claim objective. You can claim that your God is one thing that you believe in, but you chose it subjectively, didn't you? You chose to be a Christian or to be a Muslim or to be a this. You subjectively chose which God you believe in. There is no objective morality, and you guys are just fucking idiots for keeping to try to press that button, because your idea of objective morality would be divine command theory, right? Divine command theory is your objective morality, which means if God creature says to murder babies, then it is good and holy to murder babies, right? So, but you're like, God doesn't do that. He actually does. He does. You know that, right? One of my favorite examples is, of course, the firstborn children of Egypt, the one that God had his angels go and murder. Yeah, God loves murdering babies. You didn't know that? Interesting. You know, when you say, I didn't know, every time I think, man, you should get that on a shirt or a hat, maybe tattooed on your face. Something. Let me just go here and read our super chats again. Thank you very much for your support, all you wonderful people. Wow, you've been throwing some coin at me today. Let's see. The Atheist Mechanic said, atheism wins. All praise to the monad for $5. Then we have a new subscriber, Theology Detox. Thank you, Theology Detox. What a cool name, man. You're getting over it. Getting that evil theology out of you, the hate faith of Christianity, probably. Now, we also have Kelly Shearer for $50. Said a couple of months ago, I said I was going to debate Andrew. I do remember that now. I was wrong. I'm not a good debater, but really enjoy your show, Chris. Maybe there are bigger fish to fry. I could see debating someone like that. I mean, really, I could see, like, if somebody threw coin at me or something, a lot of money, go debate this guy publicly, I'd probably debate him. I'd probably have as much luck as anybody else, though. I mean, go watch his debates. They throw reason and logic at him, and it bounces right off the guy. Whenever the example I used earlier, where it's like, you would approve prostitution, and then Carrier said, oh yeah, here's how prostitution regulated and legalized can actually be better for society, and the guy just stood there fumbling his papers like a fucking idiot and didn't know what to say because he was wrong, and he got slammed wrong right in front of all of his homies. Anyway, on with the business, man. Atheist Mechanic says ball pythons have vestigial legs around their cloaca. They use them for mating purposes. The argument that transitional fossils don't exist is dumb and lazy. Again, we're all transitional fossils. They're all transitional from one thing to another. You know what I mean? I can't. If somebody have to explain that to y'all Christians. And then Flockymeister for $2 said the Bible doesn't know shit about our brains, about brains. It doesn't really. Shit for brains, those people. And because I see Flocky's name, that does remind me to let you guys know we do a thing on Discord Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. Go join them. I'm going to put the thing here, Discord. There's a link. Here's another Discord link. And I got to go. Let me go do this. Oops. I put it in the same chat twice because I'm an idiot. Maybe no, I didn't. Okay, I'm good, Chris. I'm good. All right, guys, I'm off to save the world. I very much appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Sin safely, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow, Friday.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and
Mildura in the chat says the host must have social anxiety and trauma from childhood because this guy's obsessed with quoting scripture that he doesn't even believe in. Yeah, you know why I'm doing that? Yeah, obviously I don't believe in it. I'm trying to show you how stupid it is so you'll stop believing in it. I'm trying to show you why you should stop believing in it. That's how stupid it is. That's why I even bother. Why do you think I would even bother? If it weren't for Christians putting their shit on everybody else. I'm trying to educate you on how disgusting your religion is. Remember, Jesus Christ was a child sacrifice. You worship child sacrifice? No, I don't. Yes, I do. For the Lord so loved the world that he what?
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find